Hey there, Salina here, and this video is going to be about our journey with craniosynostosis. So I guess it's kind of like an updated version to my video that I did last year in November. Because in that video I do talk about our journey, but I do share like more information about craniosynostosis and what it is. And actually later on in this video I will actually talk about the motivation behind making that video. But this video is just going to be about everything that we went through from the start of our journey to where we are now. We have been on this journey for almost a year now, and I really just wanted to share everything that we've been through. It is hard, but I am thankful for being on this journey because I've learned so much and I'm able to bring awareness to a condition that I otherwise would have never known anything about. Now we're going to get into this video. If I'm whispering, then I'm sorry. My son is taking a nap, so, and our house is small, so I have to be quiet because he can hear me from in the room. So our journey starts the day after my son was born. His pediatrician came in to check him and make sure that everything was looking okay, and he mentioned his head shape, that his head was shaped a bit different, but he thought that it was just because of the way that he was positioned in the womb, and that he thought that it was just because of the way that he was positioned in the womb, and that if after a while his head shape would just round out more like it's supposed to. That didn't happen, so a week later we had a doctor's appointment, because I think they usually do follow-ups for babies now a week after they're born. At that appointment he said his head shape hadn't changed at all, so he referred us to an x-ray specialist to get an x-ray done on his head. We got the x-rays done, and at that time his dad was there, so his dad was here, so he helped with the x-rays and helped getting him in position and holding him so that he wasn't moving around during the x-rays. And the x-rays went really quickly, I'm guessing because he was a newborn, so he didn't move around too much. I sat back like behind the partition thing near where the screen was, so I could see like the x-rays that they had taken on the screen, and from what I could see I was like, I mean, everything looks fine to me. I'm not an expert, but looks fine to me. Let's hope that everything is good. And the x-rays actually came back as inconclusive, so they really couldn't tell us anything from the x-rays. So at that time we had actually gotten referred to Seattle Children's. And I had actually, while I was talking about that, I had actually remembered something. His ultrasound pictures, which I will put right here, now that I look, like when I first got the ultrasound done, I didn't think anything of the way his head was shaped at all, but now that I look back at these pictures, I can actually see the difference in his head shape, that his head shape was more oval. A part of me wonders if that's the reason why I ended up having a C-section and why I didn't have a vaginal birth, though a lot of other moms have had, like, they had no issues giving birth to their child. Maybe it had something to do with craniosynostosis, maybe it didn't. It's, who knows right now. So yeah, we were referred to Seattle Children's, so we had to wait for them to call us to make an appointment, and then after that we also had to wait until the appointment to you know, before we really found anything out. And I believe that that was like a month out or a few weeks out, and I couldn't just sit and wait for an appointment knowing that there may be something wrong with my son. So at that point in time I just started researching. I researched everything that I could, because if there was something wrong I wanted to know right then and right there, but I had to wait. So I researched like head shape, abnormal head shape in babies, and like all this different thing, because all I knew was that there was something wrong with the shape of his head, but that was it. I didn't know anything else. Eventually, I did find craniosynostosis. I actually also found the Seattle Children's website. Like, I wasn't looking for it, but they actually have information on their website, and that's like really where I got most of my information from. I found out that there were 2 different surgeries. Worst case scenario, he would have to have surgery, the endoscopic and open surgery, or CVR, and the endoscopic also requires a helmet. And so I told my mom all of this information. So, you know, worst case scenario, he had the condition and he would have to get surgery. Best case scenario, he doesn't have the condition, I guess. I don't know, like, what other conditions that would be out there, but, you know, best case scenario, there's nothing wrong with it. So eventually we went to the appointment at Seattle Children's, and we didn't see a surgeon then. We saw a pediatrician, and on that day, the pediatrician was just like, I'm gonna be blunt with y'all. I'm just gonna go out and tell you that your son has craniosynostosis. Like, all he did was look at his head and just diagnose him, and he's going to need surgery. And a part of me wonders, like, what he thought about our reaction, because we didn't really react to it. We already had the information. I already did the research, so it wasn't a shock to find out that he had it. I had already prepared myself for the possibility of being told that he had this condition. And so that kind of helped me. Like, I had already went through all the emotions of finding out that he had it. Any crying or confusion or anger or whatever, I had already gone through that. I had already accepted the possibility that he was going to have that condition and need surgery. So I just wonder what, like, that pediatrician was thinking, because we didn't really react to it. We were just like, okay, yeah, we figured that because we had already did all the research and stuff like that. So on that day we scheduled, I believe we scheduled, otherwise we waited again for them to call us and to get a CT scan, and the CT scan would like 100% confirm that he does have the condition. We met with like a social worker, got pictures. No, we didn't get pictures done until the CT scan. And then really the only thing that was left was choosing which surgery that we wanted to go to. And that was really hard because there were pros and cons to both surgeries, and it was just like such a hard decision. And I know one thing that I was worried about with the endoscopic was having issues with insurance paying for the helmet, because some insurances won't pay for the helmet with like flathead syndrome, plagiocephaly, because I think that's what it's called though, flathead syndrome, because they think it's just cosmetic. And even though for craniosynostosis it's really not, I was worried about insurance paying for it, but I was told that no one has had any issues here with that for this condition. So we got the CT scan done, and I actually have a video on that which I will link up above. He was 1 month when we got it done. It's a day in the life of a 1-month-old video, but I do talk a little bit about it in that video, and I talk about how he did during that CT scan in that video. Afterwards, we waited for the call to find out, or to schedule his appointment or his surgery. And when the surgery would be scheduled would depend on which surgery we went with. And I will discuss more our decision for which surgery that we went with when I do the video more about each surgery. But we chose the endoscopic surgery, and the reason why we chose that one was because we did not want to wait much longer to get the surgery done. We just wanted to go on ahead and get it over with. And the endoscopic he got done at 3 months, whereas the open surgery or CVR he wouldn't have gotten done until 6 months maybe, and we did not want to wait that long. Let me tell you guys, the wait for the surgery, that's one of the hardest parts about this whole thing. I think the first one is finding out that your child has this condition. The second is waiting for surgery day. That is just it's just so hard, waiting for the day where it's going to happen. And I feel like the farther out it is before your child gets that surgery, the harder it's going to be. So that's why we just went on ahead and got the endoscopic. But that was just our decision, of course. While we were waiting for his surgery to get done, I actually had decided to make my last craniosynostosis, well, not my last, but the video is called Craniosynostosis, Our Journey So Far. And in that video, I explain what it is. I explain the different surgeries and how it can affect the child. At that time, I didn't know as much information as I knew now, but I wanted to get the video out there because I was tired of having to explain over and over and over again to family and friends what the condition was. So I had the video so that they could watch it. And one of the things that also made me want to create the video is people would say things to me like, oh, your child is perfect the way he is, he doesn't need the surgery, blah blah blah, he's fine the way he is, he's such a cute baby, and all this stuff. And I know that they meant no ill will by what they were saying, but to me it bothered me, because yes, my child is perfect the way he is, but the surgery is necessary. It wasn't a cosmetic surgery. And even though I tried to explain that, I still got all those comments. And to me, it sounded like they just didn't really understand what was going on. So that's why I took the time out to watch the video. And even after I made the video, I still got those comments, which kind of made me even madder, because I spent the time making the video to explain to people why he's getting the surgery and what it was for. And it didn't seem like many people took the time out to watch that video. And I really didn't like those comments. I know that he's perfect the way that he is, but the surgery is necessary and it's not cosmetic. His quality of life is so much better since he's had the surgery. And I guess I just wish that people would take the time to research before they comment, if that makes sense. And again, I know that people meant no ill will. It may have just been the way that I was reading into it that I didn't like those comments, because it made it seem like the surgery was unnecessary, and it is very much necessary. So after that, next we had surgeries leading up to his appointment, and of course they give us instructions on what to do before his surgery. And I actually have a video on that. If you want to go check that out, I will link that up. And you guys, I actually have a whole playlist of videos documenting our journey. If you want to see that playlist, our whole journey, because then I will link that up above. I wanted to document our journey because I didn't see like anything really extensive on YouTube. All I really saw were montages of people's journey, and that's not the same as actually watching somebody go through it. So that's why I decided to document our journey on YouTube. You know, everything is there if you want to go see it. I will probably mention like all the videos that I've done in this video, so you know what's in that playlist. And what's next is surgery day. And again, I have a video on surgery day. I did a vlog that day of everything happening that day, and I do want to so you can go and watch that video, but I don't think I really explain any emotions or anything that I'm feeling, so that's what I'm going to do right now. I think that I was a bit too happy in that video, and it's weird, like my son is getting surgery, why is she smiling in that video? And I think it was more of like a relief of the day is finally here and I don't have to wait anymore. And then one thing that comforted me, which I actually read another mom said that it didn't comfort her at all, because she felt that the best place for her child was in her arms. But for me, it comforted me knowing that my son would have a better quality of life after the surgery